Sometimes things only last for a season, and we thought they would last forever. Let's talk about those painful changes in today's video. Hi, I'm Gina. Here at Hope and Cope, we talk about essential skills needed to have our best life in spite of painful and sometimes even tragic events. Every devoted and faithful spouse deserves for their spouse to also be faithful and devoted forever. But we know that that is just not always the case, and sometimes awful and tragic events occur, as it did in my marriage. I'm going to share with you today how I coped with this unpleasant season that arrived in my life. In the fall of 2008, my husband took a spiral downward into alcoholism, and it affected our lives forever. I don't have time to set the backstory for this video, but last year my husband gave a talk at our church where he went into a lot of his own personal story, and I will link that in the description box. When my husband began to make this horrible change into addiction, of course I fought it. I fought it tooth and nail, and I wanted to cling to the life that I had. I wanted things to remain the same forever, but I couldn't control him and I couldn't control the circumstances. So I had to decide, am I going to get bitter about this situation? Am I going to let it affect me mentally, emotionally, spiritually in a negative way? Or am I going to learn how to cope with this new reality and try to proceed in a positive way for my children, for my friends and family, for myself? And so I got on a path of trying to figure out how to focus on the good, express my gratitudes every day for the things that I did have, and minimize now, try to minimize now the things that had been so vitally important to me in the past, and figure out how to make a new, full life in spite of the losses with my marriage. One thing that I decided to do was not let this current season completely rob me of the joy that I had had in my marriage for 24 years. There was a part of me that wanted to take no comfort and no joy from all of this past that we had together, that just wanted to say none of it was real, it was all fake, he never loved me, and just rob me of the joy and the beauty from that marriage. And I decided I was not going to allow that. I was going to look at that time with tenderness and appreciation. I was thankful that my husband had worked so hard so that I could stay home and raise my children, and that I got to have the life that I chose, that I got to be involved in the things I wanted, pick up the hobbies I wanted, show up for every event at my children's school. I got that privilege because my husband chose to work in spite of his injuries, in spite of his surgeries, in spite of his handicap. He chose to work all those years so that the girls and I could have the life that we had. And so I clung to those beautiful memories, even though it was not my reality now. To know that I had what I had and that no one could take that from me was a real consolation to me. In just about any season in our life, we can find something to be grateful for. For example, even once my husband started his addiction, my daughters had children, and I have 4 beautiful grandchildren that came from that season. I did begin to work. I made great friends. I had great experiences during that season, and I grew spiritually tremendously during that season. When a sad season comes and a good season ends, we feel like we've been robbed from what we deserve or what we thought we had signed up for. I just want to encourage you to make the most of every day, because you don't want to let any more be robbed from you than that you can't control. I can't control what someone else robs from me, but I certainly don't want to rob from myself. Does that make sense? I don't want to add to my own sorrow by blocking out those that love me, by not counting my blessings, by not seeing the good, and by not celebrating everything that happens during that tragic time that is a blessing. In 2004, my family suffered a tremendous loss with my baby brother dying in a car wreck when he was 21. And as tragic and painful as that loss was for years, and can still tug at my heart and bring tears pretty quickly, what I discovered was, even though it was terribly painful to lose him, I would never have traded that 21 years with him to avoid the sorrow. And I want you to feel that way too. If you've had a beautiful season and now it's been robbed of you, don't just neglect what good you received during that time. Celebrate it, treasure it, enjoy the memories and enjoy the blessings, children or grandchildren and other things, and celebrate what you had, even if for sad reasons it's been robbed from you. I would not trade those years with my brother to avoid the sorrow that we suffered at his loss. I just wouldn't. I know seasons come and seasons go, and sometimes we go through really hard times. I hope this was helpful to you. I always try to bring value to the watcher, and I will have another video at the end that hopefully will also be a blessing to you. I put a scripture verse and a Christian song and my contact information in the description box. You can check that out. I always pray for the people that watch these videos, so I hope that's an encouragement to you. I put out new content on Sundays and Bible studies on Wednesdays, so I look forward to seeing you in the next one.